Good afternoon, everyone. Simeon, can you help us to pause the music? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, welcome to this year Section 103 Port Harcourt Launch and Learn event. This is version 2.0. We are about to kickstart while others will join us. This is SP, and we keep to time with all of our events. Before we proceed, I will like to quickly take the briefing on safety brief. Please, can anybody confirm you can hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. So let me quickly take a safety brief before we continue our event. This is SP, and we take our safety very, very important. So first of all, let's ensure that we maintain a clear walkway and fire exit wherever we are, whether we are in our home or we are in our office, or especially for those that are driving. Please, this is a very serious brief you should listen to. Secondly, let us be aware of the emergency evacuation plan that we have in our home and in our office. Also, let us be aware of the smoke alarms, smoke detectors. It's part of our brief. Then make sure your seat is sound, okay, and ensure there is adequate lighting in the room when you walk. All right. So let's take this safety brief very, very important. Be aware of your environment at all times, okay, and also do not join this event while driving. Like I stated earlier on, we know some persons like dialing in while they are driving. It is actually not a good thing to do. You know, we are professionals, and let us behave like professionals, right? Also, safety brief, let us know the all name at any point. That this is when we are having physical meeting, but then we should know where we are seated for this event in our home or in our various offices. And also, let us know the location of the nearest hospital at all time. You know, this is for this meeting and beyond these meetings. So these are also we should endeavor to remember relevant emergency phone numbers. These are safety briefings we should put in place at all times. Thank you very much. Okay, before we proceed further, I would like to also quickly take the national anthem. Simeon, can you quickly play the Nigerian national anthem for us, please? Thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Simeon. Okay, so I'll quickly read through the agenda for today's event. We have already taken the safety brief and the national anthem. Afterwards, we are going to the opening remarks. Then we go to the keynote presentation. Afterwards, we'll be having the panel session. This will be followed closely by the students to YP conversion conversation, discussion. Then we'll
Hello, Simeon, we can't hear you. Simeon, can you hear us?
We'll take a group photograph. And Jadumene, please, you can go on with the opening remark. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Please confirm you can hear me.
We can hear you. Please proceed. Thank you.
Okay. I want to use this medium especially to welcome every one of us for our second edition of Mega Launch and Learn in 2024. This program is organized by the membership team of Section 1, SV Section 103, as part of our drive for membership and to educate our old and new members on benefit of joining SP and also being a member of SP. How to get our most recent one that have joined SP. Then we are using this medium also to enlarge our membership commitment to our members, not just only Section 103, but as large as the Council, Nigeria Council, and create an awareness for our various professionals in different organizations to be part of SP. So SP platform gives us an opportunity to increase our network system. For this event, we line up various important VIP and industry experts that have lined up for this event. We have the person of our former council chair, the person of Engineer Chigeze is also one of our guest speakers. I want to thank our past council chair for accepting this responsibility and also giving us his tight schedule, his tight time to be part of this program. He actually joined us was one of the first of us that joined the call. So thank you so much. I also want to thank our other speaker and panelists that will be joining this special program during the panel session. Our guest speaker, Engineer Chikoze, who will join us to the panelists also. We have our former SD in Section 103, Engineer Eta Agbo will join. We have Dr. Okoro, we have Mrs. Ima Bombasi, we also have Dr. Ismaila, and we have our able Emanuela Agbo is going to give us a talk on how to convert. So we have so many of our speakers, so many capable hands, industry experts in the SPA community here on this call. So for those of us companies that have joined this call, that are on their conference room, we have several companies which the moderator will introduce them on their conference rooms joining this meeting. So you have an opportunity to ask many questions you can ask in SPA, where Engineer may have not been answering you very well. So it's a great opportunity for you because we have the expert you need to know in SPA here on this call. So I want to thank everyone on the call. I want us to please pay attention to this deliberation and this discussion and stay safe and use it in our various careers. Thank you so much. And once again, you are especially welcome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Engineer Dumene, for your opening remarks. Without wasting much time, I would like to quickly welcome on board all our section directors, to quickly recognize them, our senior members in Section 103, and all of our Section 103 officers who are here present in this meeting. You are especially welcome, and thank you for joining us here. Without wasting much time, I would like to quickly recognize the presence of our guest speaker here, Mr. Chikeze Nwosu. Before I call on Mr. Chikeze Nwosu, I would like to quickly read his profile. Engineer Chikeze Nwosu is an experienced senior executive with over 32 years local and international experience in the energy industry. And he has demonstrated expertise in the management of the upstream oil and gas projects, new business development, divestments and acquisitions, midstream gas, downstream refining, and renewable energy strategies. Mr. Nwosu has worked with leading international oil and gas services and E&P companies, including Western Atlas, which is now known as Baker Atlas, for over 5 years. He's been the regional discipline manager of Shell Nigeria for 16 years, the deputy managing director technical of Sinopec Adax Petroleum for 6 years, EVP business development, Tolia Energy, and also recently he was the managing director and CEO, Walter Smith, for a span of 4 years. He has also served on the board of Adax Petroleum Development Nigeria Limited, Adax Petroleum Exploration Nigeria Limited, and the Tolia BV, the Netherlands, and Walter Smith. Mr. Nwosu is well regarded as an energy resource development and energy policy expert, and he has contributed to the Petroleum Industry Bill as a representative of the Oil Producers Trade Section to the then Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources. Mr. Nwosu is a regular key speaker, panelist, and moderator in national and international fora, including the Nigeria International Petroleum Summit, the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, and a new contract on natural resources. In 2021, Mr. Nwosu was recognized as the Nigerian Oil and Gas CEO of the Year by the reputable Business Day of Nigeria, and he has been profiled by Forbes Africa Oil and Gas Magazine, Foreign Investment Network UK, the Energy Year, the Business Year, and the many other energy and investment magazines. Wow. Mr. Nwosu retired from Walter Smith Petroleum Oil Limited in March 2023 after delivering the first 5,000 barrels of oil per day modular refinery in Nigeria, leading the acquisition of the 100 million BEO block EG of the Equatorial Guinea in 2020. Mr. Chike Nwosu is the co-founder and currently the Group Chief Executive Officer of HSI Energy Resources, whose subsidiary, HSI Refining and Petrochemical Limited, is building the 5,000 barrels of oil per day Abia State Refinery in Owaza, Abia State. In addition, another subsidiary, HSI E&P Limited, has partnered with East Lakes E&P to jointly develop the over 100 million barrels Barracuda field in OML 141 under a technical and financial service agreement with the joint interest parties. He holds a BSc in engineering physics from the University of Ife, MSc physics in 1986 from the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, and is a member of several professional organizations, including the Society of Petroleum Engineers, where he served as a council chairman in the 2017-2018 SP Nigerian Council year. He's also member SP Nigerian Board of Trustees, chairman of the board of the SISL, SP Nigerian Council Integrated Service Limited, and is a member also of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE, and currently serves on the advisory committee to the chairman of ES Nigeria Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome Mr. Chikeze Nwosu.
Okay, good afternoon, and thank you very much for that introduction. Let me just do a sound check that you can all hear me.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I go ahead with the keynote address?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please,
okay.
You can go ahead, sir.
Let me have the first page of the slide. Is somebody sharing the presentation? Okay. Okay, that's not the first page. There's a page before that, or 2 pages before that. Okay, go to the next page, please. Okay, yeah, just very quickly, because the topic is about disruption and innovation, I just want to, that introduction was very detailed, and I just want to show you a little bit about how I've built my career, and I will talk about the influences of the Society of Petroleum Engineers. I've done quite a lot of variable things, and when I really started my career, it was as an academic in the university, and I studied nuclear engineering science at the University of Ife. Now I'm at now Obafemi Awolowo University. My apologies. And then I went to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in the Center for Energy Research and Training to work as a theoretical nuclear physicist. So all of my skill set at that time were theoretical and deeply theoretical. So I was, mostly involved in a lot of mathematical modeling. And so by the time I decided to go into industry, I focused my career on one aspect of industry that is very detailed in terms of the kind of numerous skills you need, and that is petrophysics. I finally did quite a lot of things in petrophysics, some of the fundamental areas of petrophysics, including pore pressure prediction and fracture gradient prediction, mostly in carbonates, nuclear magnetic resonance, shear sonic logs, borehole imaging logs, tensor resistivity tools, gravity logs, resistivity tool modeling, and all that. So there's quite a lot. And in that role, I was principal technical expert for Shell International in complex formation evaluation. At some stage in my career, and this is what is critical about mentorship, one very, very great guy who a lot of you might know, Engineer Tony Atta, who was MD NLNG, we're working together in the Center for Shell in Rijswijk, and he turned around and asked me, do I want to be a scientist all my life, or do I want to do something different? And working with him, I disrupted everything I was doing in terms of the academic input into the industry and went into looking at the commercial aspects of the industry. And that's where I started moving away from being a principal petrophysicist and subject matter expert to a subsurface development leader. And from there to a regional discipline manager, deputy managing director technical, and a managing director and chief executive officer. During that journey, next slide, please, I founded the company called HSI Energies, which I will come to explain later on exactly what HSI Energy does and how it is trying to disrupt the norm. This is our team. and our executive management team. I won't delve too much into that, but these are seasoned professionals in the oil and gas industry. And many of you should be able to recognize some of them either from NAPE or from SPE itself. And they've spent their careers in all the IOCs that you can think about. ExxonMobil is represented there, Shell is represented there, First E&P, and one or two people that came from with a Total background. Next slide. Now, I want you to position yourself. Next slide, please. I want you to position yourself to consider how the world is thinking and why we have to, as an industry, start thinking differently. The number of things that are being juggled now, and nobody's sure where all this will land. But you're very much aware of the picture on the left. There are all sorts of free trade issues going on. Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement to open up, trade across Africa. So instead of just thinking global, we're also thinking about easing regional trade. There's that little green fellow that showed up at some time, which basically is COVID-19, but it represents global pandemics, which have a significant impact on industry. So we have gone past COVID-19, but we're never sure of what the next pandemic will be and how it will change the way we do business. We've gone away from physical interactions to Zoom, online interaction, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and the rest of them. And slowly, things will keep evolving as we find out there are more effective ways of working that don't require human-to-human interaction. There's climate change, which is very critical for our own industry as well. There are things around race, diversity, so I'll put race and gender rights, which are showing up in every discussion. And then you have the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are there as well. Critical talk about energy transition and Africa's role there, and then the ESG components. So whenever you are thinking about industry as a whole, whether funding, technical issues, commercial issues, ESG components become very important. And it's around environmental, environmental investing, social investing, and governance as well. Governance is critical because it includes things around gender rights. It includes things around your corporate governance structure and how you run your organization, integrity, transparency, and all those things. So it's a rapidly evolving world. And we have to situate ourselves where these things will not be a negative impact on our businesses or whatever it is we're doing, but we can leverage on them to make our businesses better. On the right is also the same story, but a little bit differently and connected into industry more. There's talks around renewable energy, which comes out of the climate change and energy transition discussions. There are socioeconomic impacts partnerships, sustainability, investment, and growth, which are all ESG components. And there is symbiotic sustainability, which means that you try to reduce waste to a minimum. I'll come back to talking about industrial symbiosis. All these things connect into a framework under which we have to rethink our traditional oil and gas industry. Next slide. Okay, so how have we fared as in a traditional oil and gas industry? Well, the view that we have versus the view that the public has is slowly evolving and diverging, because in our own view, what we think about is that we're delivering energy. So there's a handshake where we get an asset, we develop the asset through some kind of service agreement, operations agreement, whatever it is, joint operating agreement, and we go into the development. And our belief is that we deliver energy. That's our industry perspective. We deliver energy to the rest of the world. So whether it is travel to space or air flights or even lighting up the total, all the population, all countries and everything, we believe we play a role there. The public has started viewing us as polluters of the environment. So while we're thinking about the kind of things that we're delivering, they just think we are money bags. Success to us is cash, not even the social impact that we make through our investment in electricity and power and all those other places. But that we pollute the environment. We're flaring gas. We are destroying the ecosystem itself. Yeah. And it's not a good picture. And somehow we have to marry these two pictures. Neither of them is the truth. The truth is somewhere in between. But we prefer to navigate towards the left than towards the right of this picture. Next slide. So the challenges facing us are these stories around the energy and climate change and Africa's role in this. If you look at global greenhouse gas emissions and the pathways that have been defined, and these pathways were defined coming out of all these Paris engagements that have happened, you find out that what we want to achieve is to make sure that we come down to a significantly low emission, starting from about 50 gigatons of emissions, which was around 2015. Now, the idea is we have to get down to a state where we're below 1.5 degrees Celsius of, where climate temperature changes per annum, which is about 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. The trend is that if there are no climate policies, if we're not doing anything as an industry to leverage on some of these climate policies, we're going to be heating up the environment by 2100 to about 4 to 5 degrees Celsius, which is extremely high. We're even seeing the effects of some of those, the impact of global warming already. All these tornadoes happening, all these, what do you call the cycles of heat waves and all that are going on. Even, the heat waves come with the reverse of very cold environments as well. So something has to be done about it. Next slide. Nigeria has also bought onto this carbon legislation. I will not go into too much detail about that, but please go and reset the Nigerian carbon legislation framework. We expect to start reducing, we've pledged to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 20% on our own by 2030. But if we get external investment, we can go as high as 45%. And so when people are thinking about where they are going to get funding for the transition to renewables, this is where it is going to come from. The fact that Nigeria has pledged and we're expecting that we'll get investments. Africa, I think, needs investments of about $100 billion per annum for this transition to renewable energy to happen. Next slide. So how do we approach these things? And these are some of the things that we are going to discuss in these sessions. It's about entrepreneurship and disruptive innovation. We can't be static. If you look at the chart on the right, the willingness to innovate versus the change to learning, we have to be disruptive. We have to change our curriculum in the universities. We have to change the way we learn, okay? And we have to be willing to innovate. The willingness to innovate comes with making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. We cannot afford to be static. We cannot afford to be incremental, because the people that win at the end of this process of innovation are those that are disruptive. So I'd like you to put on your thinking caps and think about how do you disrupt the norm. And disrupting means that you change the way you learn. You change what you learn. You make moves. SP can help to change the curriculum in the universities. This innovation is a creative process, and it's cyclical. It continues. Research, vision and ideas, the inspiration you get, thinking through issues, brainstorming with a team, designing, and then you go into implementation. Next slide. And we hear the word startup. And the way I think about startup is you plant something, you nurture it, it grows, it matures, it transitions, and then it continues again. So it's never static. So whenever you get to that stage of transitioning, new technology comes in, new thinking comes in, and you continue that process. So do not think that business cycle life ends with one certain type of technology. We went from, automation. We went from actually human intervention to automation, and people are talking about autonomy now. But autonomy is not the end in itself. There will be things that go beyond autonomy. And that is what is so disruptive about this. When people are thinking about automation and autonomy, there are people thinking beyond autonomy. And that's the way we should start critically disrupting our ways of learning as well. Next slide. We use the word entrepreneur very liberally, but basically it's a French verb, to take a risk. So when you're prepared to take a risk, you organize and manage a business, undertaking and assuming the risk for the sake of profits, because most people would say, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur because I'm passionate about something. That's all well and good. But for you to sustain that passion, it has to make you a profit. So you have to think very well about the commercials of this business before you start saying, I'm an entrepreneur. Therefore, any person who starts and operates a business is an entrepreneur. But the drive in that is both the passion and also the profit making. Now, you have to combine the three factors of production in business and offer goods and services to consumers. And we'll come to that later on. So that's just in a nutshell what it means by being an entrepreneur. But we want to be disruptive entrepreneurs. Now, these are some examples of people who we know are entrepreneurs, and it comes with a whole lot of hard work. And this is a warning to young people who want to be entrepreneurs. Dangote has said clearly, he built a conglomerate and emerged the richest black man in 2008. But it did not happen overnight. It took him 30 years to get where he is. Okay? Now, he mentions that the youth of today want to be like him, but they want to achieve it overnight. It's not going to work. So hard work is very important to build a successful business. You have to start small, but dream big in the journey of entrepreneurship. Tenacity, which is part of what I call the adversity quotient, is supreme. That tenacity of purpose is supreme. Next slide. These are some of the hallmarks of great entrepreneurs. One, sorry, the next slide, please. You have to outlearn and outsmart everyone. You have to learn from your failures. You have to be disruptive. You have to find your X factor. What differentiates you from others? It's not when everybody is doing pure water business, I want to do pure water business. What can you do differently? You need to be passionate to the point of being crazy. Now, what that also represents is the fact that what you're thinking about, if anybody turns around and says to you, this is impossible, this is crazy, you're on the right path. Because it means that you are disrupting the standard knowledge, the standard education, the standard way people are doing things, and that typically will help you. Apart from strategizing and thinking and being disruptive, flawless execution. Never give up. Never give up. I'll come to one saying that people, use, but I'm going to talk about it in a different way. So these are some common denominators amongst entrepreneurs. Next slide. You have to be, you have to write down things. What are your goals and visions? Print them, frame them, put them up there in the wall. If you come to my office at any time, you will see exactly what direction I'm going. I'm not hiding from anybody. Be determined and focused. Find good mentors. Find people who will help you along the way. Yeah? Give you some insight into the industry you want to go into. Give you some insights about competing industry as well. How you think about money. Are you thinking about saving or investing in a business? If you're saving, well and good, you're not an entrepreneur. If you're investing in a business to grow, you will take some risks. That's what an entrepreneur is about. Think in networks. Networking is not about going to a conference and handing out business cards. It's about building authentic relationships with people and finding ways to help them so that in turn, they'll turn around and help you at some time. Ensure everyone in your inner circle is positive, caring, and inspiring. Don't let negative people surround you. Surround yourself with highly competent, smart, and very positive people. Some of the core values that you have is you lead for others to follow, and you're ready to also follow. And finally, be innovative. Now, I'll skip this slide, but I want you to take a look at it later on the next slide. It's about, the role of innovation in research. Now, generally, it just plots areas about where you'd like to sit. Industry always is application driven and takes a pragmatic approach. Generalist universities are curiosity driven. When I talk about ideas, so you have to have your mind space in such a way that you can cover this entire space. Be innovative. Think like an academic. Be driven by curiosity like an academic. But you have to execute like an industrialist. It has to be pragmatic. It has to be application driven. You have to be able to deliver something. So you have to have a mix of both talents. And here's why I say that I never lost anything from my academic theoretical nuclear physics background. It helps me to think innovatively. And I've not lost anything by going into industry because it helps me to combine all of those. So let your brain and let your mind be able to stretch between academia, where these curiosities and these ideas come out from, and industry, where you transfer them to where they are practical. Shell used to call this business to technology mapping, where there's a business need and you go and find the innovative ideas from the universities to map that business to a particular technology. Next slide. I'll not delve into these success stories. You know some of them, yeah? Again, even how you plan your business is important, okay? This is a story about Apple not just stocking up items. If you go into an Apple shop, you will see that what they are doing there is to tell you how their products will help your life, okay? So Steve Jobs built an enterprise that did not give people reasons to choose. He gave them reasons to crave. That's why when they do Apple 15 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max, you're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling, and you're going on. You're coveting. So when you find a product that you can get people to have a reason to crave, that they believe that, their life exists on it, they have a passion for, then you started building a very successful business. And thinking, this is a story from Bill Gates. When he was much younger, his mom was asking him on a regular day, the family was getting ready. And, his mom called to him and said, "What are you doing down there?" And he's saying he's thinking. And I think the other one is rude. You don't say that to your mom. But I ask you, do you ever think? Don't you ever think? Because if you don't sit down sometimes and have your moments where you're thinking, then sorry, you're not going to be able to be disruptive. You're not going to be able to innovate. You're not going to be able to drive a sustainable business for the future. Next slide. Go past this next slide. Now, you hear people saying failure. And this is Elon Musk telling you that failure is an option. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. This is from Elon Musk. So do not be afraid of failure. The only thing to be afraid of is the lack of resilience, where you are not persistent. Persistence is very important. You should not give up because you failed. Yeah. And, unless you're forced to give up. And nobody typically forces you to give up but yourself. So be resilient. Make sure that when you fail, you get yourself up again and you keep moving, because you learn a lot more from failure than you learn from successes. Now, there's a lot of, next slide, please. There's a lot of things happening around us. Big data, Internet of Things, AI, it's all there. And you have to leverage on this data mining, yeah, for you to be able to carve a niche for yourself. It's all there. I wish I was that young when all this came about. Because in our own days, the computers were just starting. We're writing computer programs in scratch cards. But now you have the opportunity to innovate from anywhere you like. Apps, using AI for different things, so the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. And so leverage on this. There are, next slide, innovations in agriculture. So who says you have to stay in the oil and gas industry? So look at some innovations in agriculture, drone technology, yeah, in water management, in machines for routine operations, in soil monitoring sensors that you put in place, in DNA diagnostics. Next slide. There are innovations in medicine that you can get involved in. Some of those innovations in medicine, please, next slide, please. Some of those innovations in medicine can be applied directly into the oil and gas industry, can be applied directly into renewable energy as well. There are innovations in security and law enforcement, which are also part of the oil and gas industry. All these pipeline theft and things, find solutions for us. Sorry, please, next slide. Find solutions for us. There are many solutions available there with all the data mine and all the data capabilities and AI and robotics and all those things. There must be solutions. We're looking for people that will bring up those solutions. Next slide. And of course, there are innovations in petroleum technology. Okay, robotics for subsea, AUVs, digital core scanning, nanoparticle research, microfluidic chips, oil field analysis from source codes, fiber optics, monitoring systems, DNA diagnostics for doing your reservoir modeling, so on and so forth. There are myriads of opportunities there as well. Next slide. And, there are a number of great startups, African innovations, There's the Boggin project that had looked at some of these innovations, and the funding is available once you have a great this thing. So they are great startups, but you require a structure, which is what I found out when I started trying to build HSI Energies, that the structure was important and industry experts were important as well. Next slide. Some key messages from this: innovation is absolutely key to African stability, sustainability, and growth. Creative destruction and disruptive innovation, these are critical drivers for economic growth and a crucial element to how countries achieve prosperity. And without setting other factors in place, countries cannot realize the enormous promised gains from innovation. The factors needed for organization of innovation include managerial and organizational abilities. So find a way to structure these things. Investing in technological programs as well. I'll come to some practical examples of what we're doing. Next slide. Next slide. Policy is important as well. The policies are there. The universities' curriculum are there. Just keep going. Next slide. And there's a case for Africa. Africa is still the dark continent. If you look at this, is the skylights from space of the world at night. Africa is still a dark continent, so it's required in Africa. Next slide. Next slide. Please note that Africa is resource rich. That's not a problem. Next slide. And that is not just oil and gas resources. This is the solar energy density map for Nigeria. Red is the highest density. And this is about greater than 2,200 kilowatt hours per meter squared. And even at the lowest, we're about 1,600 in the Port Harcourt, Calabar area. So wherever we don't have oil and gas, we have solar energy. So there's no issue with Nigeria at all. The biggest problem, next slide, is that Africa is poor, very poor, in terms of consumption of its own natural resources. Next slide. And there's a direct correlation between GDP growth and energy consumption. Next slide. Now, this is something around energy sector's capacity in Nigeria. This is prepared actually for this current administration, where we are in 2023 and where we want to go to in 2030. There are enormous opportunities. Things here are tripled, quadrupled, quintupled, and things. So there's a big gap in terms of the energy sector's capacity in Nigeria, which we have to fill in the next 7 years, 6 to 7 years. Next. It involves effective academic curriculum changes. I've already mentioned that in passing. Developing highly qualified and well-trained academic staff with industry and R&D exposure. Supplementation of teaching gaps and teaching aids. Creation of local innovation and local research capacity and culture. Development of nation and industry relevant academic curriculum. Next slide. Funding. Universities have to get funding, because that is where the innovation and the thinking and the ideations all come out from. So the United States of America is a very good example. Industry in Nigeria has to start thinking about funding research in the universities. Next slide. This gives us just a typical picture of what energy costs can be if we truly invest in innovation and disruptive innovation. At the moment, the orange lines there are where we have, what it currently costs us in dollar per kilowatt hour of energy. But look, in comparison, if we had a digital oil energy economy, one that depended on all these new technologies happening, we can drive down those energy costs significantly. Significantly. So those are where the opportunities lie. Next slide. Okay, I'll just touch on this very quickly because I'm totally running out of time. I've run maybe 10 minutes over the time. Next slide. Next slide. So HSI Energies started thinking about industrial symbiosis a long time ago. And our first example of working with a company to try and deliver this was through Walter Smith. That is what the surgeon to Walter Smith was for me. And we looked at it, and the first industrial innovation park is the one in Ibigwe in Imo State, currently being built by Walter Smith. That industrial symbiosis will include not only gas to power, the refinery you know about already, but renewable energy as well. So these are all coming into that area, and it will also include an innovation center. And the idea about industrial symbiosis is to make sure that you reduce as much as possible by co-locating industry where the waste product from one industry is actually the feedstock for the next one. Next slide. This is our current value proposition, where we are building the energy industrial part of the Abia Industrial Innovation Park. Next slide. It is 2,000 hectares of land, for which 10.5 hectares of land shown in the plot on the right in the red box has been allocated for the energy industrial part of that park. Next slide. First project to be delivered is a 5,000 barrels of oil per day modular refinery. We are done with the front-end engineering design, market feasibility study, and all that. Just go through the slides quickly. Okay, next. So next project is under HSI Gas and Power, is gas to liquids technology, disruptive technology to provide diesel from gas using the Fischer-Tropsch process itself, which, you know, a lot of people have attempted before, but there are some techniques that we want to apply here to be able to make it commercial, to make a profit. Next slide. We've done the pre-feed, we've done the market feasibility. Next slide. Next slide. And last but not the least, under HSI Renewables is we're talking to companies about coming to establish solar PVC manufacturing within that industrial park. China's domination, if you go to the next slide, China is the dominant supplier of global solar PV activities. You've seen already, next slide, Africa's solar PV demand and production capacity. You can see all the energy that we have available from the sun here. There are significant, next slide, significant export opportunities. And so the solar PV manufacturing supply chain, the same things that you have, next slide, please. The same things that work in China will work in Africa. Next slide. We want to make sure that we can start off somewhere and create other potential solar PV manufacturing hubs. So sure, it can be done here, but a lot of the focus will also go toward the northern part of this country, where the solar energy density is much higher than in the southern part of the country. So we want to kickstart this. That's what we want to disrupt it instead of just importing and putting together these solar PV panels. We want to start manufacturing them. Next slide. Nigeria has a competitive alternative to China. We've done the market analysis already, so we're ready to go. Next slide. And we have a clear understanding of the solar PV manufacturing process. And so my last slide is some words of advice. Invest in yourself. Never stop learning. Outlearn, outsmart everyone. Make sure that you go ahead and you apply some of these innovative things. You have intellectual property rights. They are critical to your success. Ask questions and do intensive research before you start. You are your own best advisor. Start small. Don't go big. Start small and grow big. Have big ideas, but start small. Find good partnerships. Collaborate to survive. Collaborate to grow. It won't be easy, but try not to get discouraged. Be passionate to crazy. Network, network, network. That is what SPE has done for me. The ability to network, connect to people, connect to mentors, connect to a lot of people that can come in and help us with this effort that we're going through. If it's popular, it's usually too late. It's like pure water business, unless you can find a way to improve it. The grass is always greener if you plant it yourself and nurture it and build to last. The greatest enterprises outlive generations of their founders, and that's around ESG concepts, environmental investing, social investing, and governance being very critical. Finally, last slide. Next slide. This is what we want to see in Africa. So the rest of it is your opportunity to light up the African night. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Chikezi Nwosu. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you for all of the brilliant insights you have showed us here. I want to advise as many of us that are on this call, please. We are going to request Mr. Chikezi Nwosu for this slide so that we can learn more We just want to say a very big thank you, Mr. Chikenwozu, for your presentation. Before we go to the panel session, we want to quickly introduce our sponsors that is here with us. Sequest, we quickly want to give 1 minute for sponsor remark. Thank you very much. Sequest Exploration, please, are you with us? Okay, if we don't have Sequest online, I know they are online. Should we give them a few seconds? Okay, thank you. Please. Sequest Exploration, please.
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, thank you. We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, to participants, our panels, and also our keynote speaker. Thank you, everyone, for putting together this very innovative and informative session. Sequest is always part of anything that will add value to the SPE family. We are always here to support. So thank you to the organizers for making this happen. We enjoy when we put together platforms that are meaningful, insightful, and valuable to everyone. And looking at what our keynote speaker put together, everything he said is on point. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. And as usual, Sequest is always going to be here to keep supporting such value-adding or added events. And thank you so much. So that'll be all from the management of Sequest. Unfortunately, our MD cannot join at the moment, but he sends his regards as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sequest Exploration and Production Services. Thank you for being a good sponsor to our event here in Section 103, Port Harcourt. Thank you very much. Also, we have another of our sponsor. We will quickly give time for them to quickly give a sponsor remark. Texo Angel Nigeria Limited. If you are here, please, you can quickly take the floor. Thank you.
Texo Drone Nigeria Limited.
Okay, in the absence of that, we saw Professor Mike Onyeko on the line, on the call. Prof, you are welcome to our program. We also want to welcome again all of our section directors, senior members, and all our Section 103 officers. Yeah, you're welcome. Before we go to the panel session, we like to quickly give.
Like Texo Drone is on the line.
Okay, they're on the line. Okay, Texo England, please go ahead, please.
Yeah. Hello. Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear you. We can hear you. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Clinton Chidebere. Representing Texo Drone Nigeria Limited. I want to especially thank the management of SPE and everyone in attendance here for this ample opportunity to be a part of this innovative body. And I want to assure the SPE and every of its members of our continuous commitment and partnership to this innovative body. Once again, I thank everyone for the opportunity, and it's a good one to always have events like this to enable us to learn more, synergize, and connect for the development of the oil and gas sector in Nigeria and Africa at large. So once again, thanks everyone for the opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, Sume. Hello, please, can everyone hear?
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, the is lost. Is out of the line. Okay. Okay, we are waiting for our moderator to join. So, thank you, Tezor John, for the remark. Also, I want to also inform us that we have HSE engineer also on the call, joining the meeting. I want to also recognize all our companies, various companies that have joined this program. We move forward. I would love, since we are waiting for CIMA to hook up back, so we go straight to the panel session.
Okay, Engineer Dumene, thank you very much for covering up.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. You are welcome back.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's proceed with our event. I would like to quickly give a bio of our moderator for the panel section, Dr. Emeka Okoro. Dr. Emeka Okoro happens to be the Deputy Director of Center for Petroleum Research and Training at the University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Emeka Okoro has a very oil and gas industry experience covering research and academia. He has authored and co-authored over 110 publications, including in Society of Petroleum Engineers papers and Scopus Index journal articles. And he has a copyright and patent in petroleum engineering. Emeka holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, a master's degree in gas engineering, and doctorate degree in petroleum engineering. He is the former head of department petroleum engineering at the Covenant University, and he is currently a senior lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. He is a training consultant for ZKJ Energy Partners Limited, Bakawas Global Consult, and the McKinsey and Associates, with whom he has trained participants from NNPC, FES, NUIM, and Dr. Okoro is going to be our panel for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Dr. Okoro. Please, Dr. Okoro, take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Istime. Thank you so much. So without wasting much of our time, because from the comment section, we all are wowed by the presentation of Mr. Chikezie. So as usual, growing up then, we always see him, even when he was our council chair then, he's always passionate, and we can see that passion coming in, trying to blend the academia back to the industry. That has been his trademark, and we actually want to appreciate him for always not relegating the academia when it comes to innovative contributions towards oil and gas. And to do justice to today's presentation, we have a packed panelists. So we'll be having 3. Then we'll be also indulging Mr. Chikezie Nwosu to also be part of the panel, making us 4. So we have already gone through the bio of Mr. Chikezie Nwosu. Then part of the panelists is Mr. Etabo. I don't know whether he's on call. Mr. Eta, if you're on call, let's hear your voice, sir. Okay, while we wait for him to join the call, I also have Mrs. Emel Bongbasi as part of the panelists. Mark, I don't know whether you're on call.
Yes, okay. I'm on.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. So we also have Dr. Ismaila Ibrahim. I saw him earlier online. Yeah. Doc, are you online?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yes, okay. I am on call.
Okay. So if we look at their bio, when you're about to do such presentations and you gather the years of experience of this panelist, I think he might be chasing probably 100 years of oil and gas experience. Only our keynote speaker, Mr. Chikezie, has over 30-something. So by the time you sum up others, we're looking at over or close to 90 or 100 years experience of oil and gas. So he's actually a rich one. So back to the keynote speaker, we want to appreciate you. So for the panelists, they're already displaying their profile. So we'll quickly dive into the discussion so that we'll spend more time. Sir, during your presentation, you raised a whole lot of key points that even reactions have already started in our chat box where people are already stimulated to hear more. So the first thing I would want to know, talking about energy transition challenges, which you tried to highlight, but because of time, you were just trying to run through them. We know that the oil and gas industry is facing a significant transition towards a more sustainable future. That's the drive. No matter whether it's fast over here or it's faster in Europe, it's something that is happening. So my question will now be, what disruptive innovations are needed to bridge the gap between the traditional energy sources, which we are all conversant with, and the renewable alternatives? Because some of our students are already asking, so what key skill should I possess in order for me to take advantage? Because you gave us a word here that we should think differently, and that has actually stimulated them. So please, I will need you to talk to us on that for the next 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll first start with the areas I say that have to change in the curriculum of energy students. So you should stop thinking of yourself as chemical engineers or petroleum engineers. There has to be a basic change in the curriculum in universities to start teaching students about coding. Now, even when we were doing engineering in our own days, and even physics or engineering physics, we had to have computer science. But like I said, the computer science we had was Fortran with punch cards. The university curriculum now for engineering has to be heavily weighted towards tech applications. So for example, all these people that write codes, write apps, are into even fintech products and things like that. Big data analytics, what you call the Internet of Things. So all those kind of things that require big data, data analysis, how would I put it now? Learning, coding, whatever runs the engines, behind a lot of this new innovation, phones and everything. These are things that people have to learn. It should be a significant part of the curriculum. So that's a part of the curriculum change that needs to happen. The second thing is that there are certain things that are taught in petroleum engineering curriculum that need to be further emphasized. Now, I talked about the part in the universities where you think about the innovation of ideas. What I find very challenging actually is that a lot of the techniques that we're now trying to industrialize are even taught in the universities. I don't know whether any of you learned about the Fischer-Tropsch process, of getting from gas to liquids. Because when you talk about the transition, remember that gas is a transition fuel. And quite honestly, the products, the diesel product, the naphtha that is produced through the GTL process, relying on this, Fischer-Tropsch process, is actually regarded as carbon neutral, CO2 neutral. So you can deliver a lot of the products that we typically use, low sulfur content, low CO2 emissions and everything from these kind of processes you learn in the university. About an hour or so ago, before this program started, there was a guy who has a PhD in chemical engineering who called me up and started discussing this same process. And when I told him that we're trying to build a GTL plant based on this process, he got so enthusiastic. So some of those areas in our curriculum have to be further emphasized. Even refining technology, because all these things about going to a petroleum engineering school, to learn about the refining process. Can't we have a process where we learn how to improve them? Improve on it to make them a lot more carbon efficient. Last but not the least, the engineering energy curriculum must include sustainable energy practices. So you must have part of that curriculum looking at solar energy, must look at wind, you must look at biomass, you must look at geothermal. That is a complete picture for the energy professional, not petroleum engineer or chemical engineer now, the energy professional of the future. Those who are already in practice can start retraining themselves. There's no reason why you cannot do that, because there are a lot of people, I know some examples who are SPE people who retrain themselves to move from purely oil, because it's oil that is the big danger now, to gas as transition, to geothermal. You guys know some of the examples, yeah, and to renewable energy practices as well. So it requires you to change the way we think and to change the way we learn. When I talked about that disruptive learning part of it, that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for doing justice to that question. So it's all about us understanding the skills that we need to fit in, because one thing you have also made very clear during your presentation of is the need of us to always invest. You say we should invest in ourselves and never stop learning. So that's actually one of the key for those comments I'm seeing on the chat box. What skill do I have to acquire? So one thing that he has said is a lot of Internet of Things are happening, a lot of coding-based technologies are going on. So you need to key in, invest on yourself. Don't just wait for it to be taught in schools. You can actually invest on yourself. Thank you so much, sir. So the next justice to the question, I want to take this to Mrs. Bassi. So still on the energy transition challenges. So I'm looking at how can young professionals, because what we have seen Engineer Chikezie tell us is some opportunities that are out there. So from your own experience, how can young professionals get involved in this drive and driving this change? And what are some of the skills that they should acquire? Maybe some that are different from what Engineer Chikezie has mentioned. So let's have your view, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm really honored to be in this panel. Oga Chike, as we always call you, I'm glad to be here on the panel with you. So your insights were great, and I will just lean my words to what you have said. You've covered a lot of grounds, but for me, I would like to add that young professionals are actually very crucial to the role of driving energy transition. So what do I mean by that? Let's remember that these young people, that their minds are fresh, their perspectives are fresh, and they can shape the energy transition in ways like involving themselves in even the policies, refining the policies. I know that they need a bit of learning to get to that point, which adds on to what he says, that never stop learning. So crafting business models, they don't have to be complex models, just simple. I always have been told that to keep things simple is actually having the knowledge of it. Exploring alternative technologies and measuring impact using the data that we have every day. And also, when we talk about this, I'll be looking at a couple of nuggets. And advocacy and awareness is one thing we do not have. This is a space they can walk in. So what I mean by that is that they can come into this space and educate people on clean energy, renewable energy, learn themselves, improve the curriculum like he has already mentioned, learn this aspect of renewable energy and educate others. Already in SPE, as we already know, we have a lot of aspects of SPE, a lot of groups. It would be good for this advocacy for us to even develop groups in renewable energy, people that can champion it in our society and educate others. A career path in clean energy, not just going into the university. Everybody wants to be a petroleum engineer. If they change the curriculum, not just looking at only the petroleum engineering curriculum, they can include data analytics, project management, even soft skills that can help us attend. We can also encourage ourselves to attend workshops and build our social media handles to include it. The world is a global village now. You don't only learn it's informal learning. You can learn through social media by following people that are consistent in this aspect of renewable energy and energy transition. So entrepreneurship, we have heard so much about it, and innovation, there is no limit to it. So we can come in and discuss this as young people. So policies and governance, it takes a lot to participate in that space, but the more you educate yourself, learn, relearn, and unlearn certain things, you will know the policies. You can read this thing up, understand the regulatory frameworks, and be able to bring out the policies, regulations, and incentives that would influence decision making in this aspect. We can go into research and development, like a partnership that Ogachike talked about. We can go into a partnership with his his company, research on things based on the renewable technologies that we have and the systems that would help them. Also, collaborate with institutions. People should start funding our institutions so that it helps with the research that we bring to the table. Global incentive and partnerships. We can go, the world is such that if you go in there to the internet, not just use it for our own social media, selfies and things like that, you can find a lot of initiatives that you can be a part of. Join those organizations, and then you can grow from there. I would like to pause at this moment and allow other speakers get on board.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much, Ma. We can actually feel that passion. There is need for the young ones to adapt in the current situation. So that brings me to the next question to Dr. Ibrahim. How will the skills and expertise of today's oil and gas professionals be adaptive to this thriving that is evolving in energy landscape? That's one aspect of it. How already, like Mr. Chikeze always say, he said how he wish he's younger, that there are some things that he would have loved to go learn. And not only being younger, if he still has, because I know his own time, even giving us this time is not an easy one, just for the passion he has for SPE. So how will the skills already that we have for those that have already been professionals out there that have gone far, is it going to keep up with what is happening? Then what role can SPE play in order to support this? So if you can do that justice in the next 3 minutes, I'll really appreciate it, sir.
All right, thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. I'm very grateful to be on this panel, especially when one of my mentors is on the same panel, President of Engineer Chikeze. So coming to your question, right? So particularly, I would draw from what Engineer Chikeze had already mentioned when he talked about change of curriculum and disruptive processes that we need to bring into what we already have in existence, and then I'll come to the role SPE play. Right. So when you talk about project management, right? If we look at project management, managing projects, with interdisciplinary scopes, this is one aspect that we can bring on the already existing skills that we have. So we can, as professionals in the oil and gas industry, we can learn project management skills that are very, that are relevant currently in the climate that we live in. risk management, agile methodologies, adaptive thinking, and things like that that can help us to transition into the current evolving energy landscape. Having a broad understanding of what the energy transition covers, so from the traditional oil and gas methodologies to the clean technologies that we're talking about. We talk about wind, solar, and all of that. And then also we need to grow our leadership capabilities. So their ability to lead these changes in the organizations that we find ourselves working in. And Madam Imabon talked about advocacy. So policy advocacy is very important. Now, come to the role SP can play, in supporting members, right? Currently, I know that SP is already doing a lot as a professional organization. We have specialized networking events and conferences that are now dedicated for energy transition. So members are encouraged to be part of such events where knowledge can be shared. So we have people who come from the traditional oil and gas business and people who are from the clean technologies, coming together to discuss and share, knowledge, where relationships can be built, research papers can be written, and when we talk about this can lead to where we have, mentoring for the younger generation to understand where there is a bridge between the traditional methods of producing oil and the current efforts towards reducing CO2 emissions and all of that. So SP is already doing a lot currently, and of course there is need to expand, trainings, to cover these kind of energy transition topics. So trainings to cover solar, wind energy, geothermal, and all of that. And then mentoring, I'll come to mentoring particularly. Engineer Chikeze here is a very useful, resource in the SPA family. A lot of SPA members who are, from the traditional oil and gas exploration methodologies, can leverage resource people like Engineer Chikeze and a lot of others, who some of them on the call here, to understand how we can move from where we are, not necessarily throwing away the knowledge that we have, but bringing it into the current climate and then enhancing that space to improve the productivity that we need to have. Let me hold it there and allow other speakers to speak.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim. Isime, can you confirm to us that you are gathering the questions so that I will know how to navigate the panel? So that
yes, I'm gathering all the questions, Dr. Oko.
Thank you so much. So, so coming back to you, just on a final note, just probably in less than 2 minutes, I'm looking, I say, what resources, programs does SE offer to help these young professionals? You mentioned it, you said that even when you started a career, it was actually a mentor that actually, asked you a question that actually spurred you to now know that you can go beyond just being a science student to having, a stake in industry, which is what we have attained now. So since the drive of our discussion is towards what SPE or how our future in the oil and gas or how we are finding our path has to do with SPE. So my question to you will now be, what resources, programs do we have around SPE that can help young professionals and even the intending students or intending members to actually be a part of this evolving energy sector? Over to you, sir.
Okay, let me just do a sound check again. Can you hear me very well?
Very well, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, good. No, so first things, SPE has a number of courses it runs. And there are some basic ones, but I think SPE will have to look beyond some of those courses, these short courses, and start looking at non oil and gas traditional courses. I do not know why, as part of the SPE NICE, we shouldn't have, something like a coding workshop, for example, or one session of those short courses that talks about one particular aspect of renewable energy. Because I know that we have these Microsoft courses, Excel courses, and things like that help you in some way, maybe code with Visual Basic. But I think we should go a step beyond that. So SPE does what it does within the traditional space. The short courses that it runs, the technical sessions that it runs. But I think we should start trying to expand beyond, just things related to oil and gas, and start thinking about some of the topics I said are very important for people to navigate into this new sustainable energy world that we find ourselves in. The other one is that SISL, I'm chairman of SPENC Integrated Services Limited. And the reason why I took that role on is because we are now trying to put together a training curriculum that actually is aligned to some of the things I'm just mentioning now. So together with SPE, watch out for our curriculum, maybe from mid this year, but definitely by 2025, we'll start making a curriculum richer in all these sustainable and renewable energy topics, including some commercial topics as well. Because I make that critical point that it's not just about the technical issues that you encounter, but commercial and financial issues for young budding entrepreneurs as well. So SPE, NCISL, so SISL will be putting out some courses, and you can get connected to these courses through your SPE sections. Now, last but not the least, there's an SPE R&D opportunity that we are pushing to have industry support the universities, like I said, funding for research within the universities. There's also the petroleum engineering, the petroleum engineering team of lecturers. I've forgotten what it's called, which committee of heads of petroleum engineering.
Okay, CHIPEN.
SPE, yes, we'll continue to work with to modify some of the curriculum within the universities. So there's a lot SPE is doing, there's a lot SPE can do. Let me point out one last part in terms of networking. When I say that SPE is a great forum for networking, I will give you one practical example. Networking is not about giving out complimentary cards. I heard just in passing that Professor Onyekon was on this call. Prof, are you on this call? Is Professor Onyekon still on?
He was here. He was here not a few minutes ago.
Okay.
He was still online. Probably network-related issue. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me give you an example of networking. Through SPE, I have built a very strong relationship with Professor Onyekon. And when we're trying to do the crude assays for this modular refinery in Abia State, the crude assay is a very expensive thing to do for a modular refinery. When I first approached Professor Nyakonwu's company, they gave me a quote. My team said, hey, what are we going to do about this quote? I picked up the phone, called Professor Nyakonwu, and said to my team, give 24 hours, you're going to get a quote that is half what they had actually sent to you earlier. And that's exactly what they got. So, like I said, SPE provides you a platform. So for much more beyond money, the connections you make within SPE may be a lifesaver for you when you decide to become an entrepreneur. For example, if you reach out to me for something that I've done or something that I'm doing, do not be surprised that a service that you would have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for will be provided to you free of charge. That is what SPE does for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So the question will not be, what are you waiting for? Why are you not attending these events? Because the networking, as Mr. Chike has always said, he says it's not just card or I am this, is actually establishing that relationship, because he mentioned it earlier during his presentation that don't just issue out that card. You know, have that personal consciousness. So have the consciousness whenever you're meeting anybody. Thank you so much. So coming back to you on the last note, Mrs. Bassi. So my question to you will now be, how will this connection with them, these senior members and mentors, how is it going to happen? What are the possible ways? Because as much as we are hearing it from Mr. Chikezie, the young ones are getting more interested. They want the sense, iron that. So if you can, in less than 2 minutes, because of our time, give us maybe 1 or 2 highlights, possible ways that this can come to pass. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Emeka. I would just try to emphasize more on networking. Engineer Chikezie has told us that networking is not just having a relationship, but a symbiotic relationship. Not just asking, oh, e-mentoring, we do have e-mentoring in SP, but we also have physical mentoring when we go to all of the events that we have. How are you connecting with the professionals that you meet there? What relationships are you building? How are they seeing you? How are you helping them to get to where they want to be, and in turn getting to where you want to be? So mentorship is a two-way traffic. You have to be able to give to take, and this will help all of us just to grow ourselves. So that is important. Good relationship, good, even as a YP, you can mentor students, not just always taking. Give back, and you will always have a way to receive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for making it very simple. So it's not all about being the one always on the demand end. You can also, the little services that you are already familiar with, to offer it. As she mentioned, our programs makes us see and have access to so many top industry executives. So coming around, okay, last Saturday we were in a STEM meeting and the ED of Total was there. So imagine being there and actually there are some information you need. He was an ant, and he was, within the short time he was there, he was able to interact and speak to people. Like the example that Engineer Chikezie is mentioning, that if it is something he's working on and you are able to have that, relationship and network with him, that you will be shocked that you might actually have a way out of it. So lastly, on the panel question, that this question goes to Dr. Ibrahim. So my question to you will be, in the presentation, the keynote speaker made it clear that actually we are having energy landscape change. The speed at which it's happening, we cannot establish right now. So the question will now be, how will SPE adapt its offerings to continue to be relevant and valuable for young professionals across the entire energy spectrum? So that will be our question. So please just do justice to that in less than 2 minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think if we listen clearly to what Engineer Chikezie already mentioned, I myself am very much enthusiastic about that offering. So as of now, SP, as we heard, is already, organizing a training program specific to cover these skill sets and these emerging technologies that we are talking about here. So my word here is to encourage every one of us, because there is of course, there is a need and there is already effort towards closing that gap, which you mentioned what SPENC Integrated will be, offering dedicated courses that will cover the non-traditional oil and gas and training. So let's be on the lookout for that information, and dive into it where we can learn these things. We'll talk about sustainable energy practices, where these things will be covered, data analytics, AI, and all of that. SP is also, there's an SP job board that has even roles for non-traditional oil and gas, professionals. So let's go to these resources, and feed on them, so that, we can find ourselves in the right places. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for keeping to time. So before we take the panel, the questions, a few questions. So Isime will tell us how many we are taking, and he's going to read it out, and probably to the panelists is being directed to. So the key takeaway here is one, we talked about mentorship by members. I wrote senior members before, but taking the tone of Mrs. Bassi, she said that everybody in his own little way should be able to mentor. So if they are mentoring you as a YP, you as a YP should mentor the student chapters, and so on and so forth. Then also during the keynote presentation, we heard about regional trade and that we should think differently. We also heard that the drive of an entrepreneur is not just the passion. If not, you might burn out of passion. There should be also that profit, oriented mindset there. Then he mentioned hard work, and he said that we should start small and grow big when you're talking about entrepreneurship. So for an entrepreneur, you will have passion, which is your drive. Then also, what are you getting out of it? It's just like writing a grant and you're telling the people only how you're going to contribute to them without saying what is your own profit, then they will know that something is wrong. He said that we should also be able to take risk. Then we should network with intention, and have a positive energy. That was the one that I love so much. He says, always have positive energy people around you. Then he talks about industrial symbiosis. That is the key thing that is driving, and it should be the key thing that we should be looking forward to. So each and every one of us can work towards keying into this. Then he says, invest in yourself, never stop learning, don't be discouraged. And the summary of it all, he says, let's light up the African night. So with that, I go back to Isime for the questions. Probably we'll have just 5 minutes for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Okoro. Thank you very much. Thank you to our guest speaker and all of the panelists. Quite insightful. Okay, so we have quite a numbers of questions here. I think we'll just take only 3 questions, and we just throw it to the floor, and the panelists and the guest speaker could, anybody can say 1 or 2 on these 3 questions. Okay, so the first question I'm going to take here is, what advice would you give to aspiring energy entrepreneurs or innovators looking to make a meaningful impact in the sustainable energy sector? Let me take that quickly again. What advice would you give to aspiring energy entrepreneurs or innovators looking to make a meaningful impact in the sustainable energy sector? That is question 1. Question 2, as an entrepreneur, noting the relevance of partnership and collaboration, can you suggest reliable resources or platforms that we can use to build on skills towards achieving successful partnership and collaboration? Let me take that again. As an entrepreneur, noting the relevance of partnership and collaboration, can you suggest reliable resources or platforms that we can use to build on skills towards achieving successful partnership and collaboration? Then the last question, unfortunately, I just have to take 3 questions because of time. Nigeria has a prevalent non-associated gas reserve, but we are still so focused on associated gas due to our interest in crude oil. Why? As an energy transition enthusiast, I like to be enlightened on these aspects. Let me take a recap and try to restructure what this person is asking. Nigeria has a prevalent non-associated gas reserve, but we are still focused on associated gas due to our interest in crude oil. Why? As energy transition enthusiast, I like to be enlightened on this aspect. The question is to our guest speaker, or the questions rather, is to the guest speaker and to the our panelists. I leave the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Isime, for that. Engineer Chikezie, I think you have sat on both sides of the questions, also as an entrepreneur and also with your wealth of experience. So let's have you take the first bite on those questions, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually did attempt to answer the first question online, yeah? And it's about what advice you would give to aspiring energy entrepreneurs or innovators looking to make a meaningful impact in the sustainable energy sector. So my response there was, do not stop learning new things. I've said in a couple of fora that the calling somebody a relic is not specific to age. You can be a relic at 17 if you stop learning. So if the day you stop learning is the day you become a relic. An 80-year-old man who is still learning new things is young. He's young, he can start a new business. You will have stories of people who started their businesses at 60, 70. I think there's one entrepreneur, I don't know whether it's a KFC man or, there's somebody that started their businesses at a very advanced age. And that is to make the clear distinction that entrepreneurship is not about being young. It's about the ability not to stop learning and learning new things. I also mentioned that you should pick up the required skills in the energy area you want, transitional or renewable. I use transitional for all energy products that have to do with gas, okay? Gas as transition fuel, and that includes gas to liquids, gas to ammonia, gas to liquids could be gas to diesel. There are different processes there, and all of them are taught within the university system. So there's quite a lot you can learn from there as well. The other renewable energy areas are solar PVs. There are several areas in that solar mix that you can learn about. Biomass, green, blue hydrogen. Remember that you can have hydrogen extracted from gas. And if you look at the composition of gas, you know that there is a possibility of extracting hydrogen and liquefying hydrogen from it as well. People are working on it. I talked about things around AI, data analytics, and coding. Those are new skill sets that you require. Finally, like I said, you should be out to make a profit as well with your passion. So some commercial knowledge is required to start a new company, for a startup. It's about investment memos, understanding market feasibility. What's the market that you're targeting? And how are you going to get your source of funding? One very clever way of funding in this day and age is crowdfunding. In actual fact, I am invested with some young people who are putting together a crowdfunding app. And this is the process for democratizing funding in projects. I would go on and on about it, but just quickly what it is like, it's not like a GoFundMe, but it's where people would bring in their projects, that is renewable energy projects or whatever, into a forum, talk about how much they need, bring in their investment memos in there, have a team of experts who are going to review each of these projects and determine which ones can be funded through this mechanism. Then they open up this to people to buy tokens. Tokens can be as low as $1 or even ₦1. We're still working out the mechanics for this. So when those tokens are then bought, everybody then has an opportunity to buy a certain number of tokens. And the guarantee on those tokens is like, Bitcoin. If the company does very well, you do very well along with the company as well. That's the way you can democratize this funding of projects as well. So those would be my key things around what a new entrepreneur innovator should look at. Don't stop learning, pick up key areas, pick up commercial and financial skills as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I don't know, Dr. Ibrahim, is there any comment you have on that before we wrap up this section? Just in 1 minute, please.
All right, so I just want to take on one of the questions that someone talked about, partnership and collaboration. sometimes these things sound as if they are very far from us. But typically collaboration and partnership is living amongst us. A family, there is collaboration and partnership, towards a common goal. So one of the things that I'm suggesting to that person who asked that question is to build emotional intelligence, right? Where you are able to separate business from how you feel, at every point in time, right? And also you need to have an open mindset, right? So because typically we have our individual biases, but when it comes to in the business climate, commercials and all of that, there are certain biases that we need to put aside, and look at things holistically and be able to make, proper and accurate decisions. So resources are out there, as simple as YouTube, there's LinkedIn, there are several platforms that we can feed on to learn and keep improving ourselves, whilst we are going into entrepreneurship and business. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Bassi, any word of contribution to that?
So for me, I would like to lead my voice on same entrepreneurship and how to grow your collaborative skills and partnership. SP is the grounds for partnership, offer to help an individual volunteer. It's an organization for volunteerism, volunteer to do more. When people see you have the ability to do, they want you to help them do something. And then for the collaboration, it is the daily skills that we have. Collaboration just means being able to work in teams. And what do we do in SPs? Working in teams. So before you even go as far as going to learn skills to do this thing formally, which can take you to LinkedIn Learning, the Coursera Learning, Udemy, EDX. Most of these are formal. But what you need to do as a human being, first and foremost, is improve your communication skills. You're looking to talk to someone, he's in a conversation, or you're typing a chat. Is it a good time to have that communication? Can I call back later? So simple skills, and those soft skills, in addition to the technical skills, which I cannot overemphasize on because it's really been flogged here, analytical skills and all of that. So you need to learn to approach people nicely and respectfully and be able to contribute to what they do so that they can build the trust that you have the ability to do more. So that's where you show capacity and can join in and partner with people. People will trust you to invest in you. So that's what I can bring to the table. And in terms of, yeah, so please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to actually appreciate the panelists and our keynote speaker for this time. So I will be handing back to Isime, so for him to probably take general comments on this section and then take over the program. Isime, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Okoro. Again, thank you, our guest speaker and all of our panelists. It's been a wonderful time to have this. We'll be going back to the next on our agenda. But before we do that, we would like to take a group photograph. We employ each and every one of us to turn on our camera. Let's take a group photograph. Simeon, please, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. That's what I said. No. Wow, it's coming out nicely. Okay, we have 30 seconds to do this. Just keep the smile on. Okay, yeah. 10 seconds.
No, because I'm checking
Okay.
from my laptop, so but no.
Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Simeon. Mr. Chike also, thank you very much. Sincere appreciation. Thank you, Madam Mrs. Imabong Basi. Dr. Slim, thank you very much. Dr. Okoro, thank you very much. Okay, we would like to, Simeon, please, can you give us our program of events while we quickly go back to the schedule for the day? So next on the agenda, we'll be having a quick conversation on student to young professional conversion. This is going to be taken by Emanuela Agbo. Emanuela Agbo is a talented and creative energy professional with an academic background in mechanical engineering. She is currently a project engineer in Shell, Nigeria. She is passionate about utilizing technology to provide a solution that impacts projects, process, and operation, and in turn reflects on business profitability and sustainability. Having led several teams at different levels, Manuela has honed her leadership abilities while lending credence to her great entrepreneurial skills, emotional intelligence, project management, and critical thinking skills. She's also reputed for timeliness and agility in everything, in executing projects and meeting deliverables. She's a strong advocate for women in STEM and an active volunteer causes that encourage women's participation in leadership, politics, and STEM. She mentors aspiring young female engineers towards academic excellence and career relevance. She is also an astute businesswoman, and entrepreneur. Ella, as she is fondly called, is an active member of SP. She is currently the YP co-chair and Young Professionals Membership Committee led for the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Section 103, Port Harcourt. Her hobbies include acting, reading, trying out new recipes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's invite Emmanuel Agbo to take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Isimen. Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, might I say that this is one of the best SP events I have been to, and I've been to quite a number of them. I mean, the conversations were very enriching, and I mean, anybody that wasn't on this call has missed a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all our speakers. I mean, you can't get this anywhere else. All right, moving on to my my task for today, which is on student to young professional conversion. So essentially, I would just do a background before I go on to a practical session on how you can convert from being a student member of SP to being a young professional member. Now, being a student member of SP, as we all know, is somewhat free because it is paid for by Chevron. Then after graduating, the first year from graduation is typically free for students because there's the assumption that you're just finishing university and you most likely do not have a job. So I'm going to be doing a quick demo of how to transition from student membership to young professional membership and taking advantage of that free year that is being paid for by SP. So Simon, please, you can share the video. All right, thank you very much. So, Simeon, you will have to start the video afresh.
Can I start it now?
Yes, start it. So, this interface basically represents the SPE platform. This is a student member's account that we're using. So, essentially, you click on renewing membership and you go through all these processes when you click on renew your membership. You fill out your details and check the various options you want. If you want to be receiving emails from SP about various SP products and associations, then you see this, you click on free, activate my professional membership, right? So it's 1 year free for every recent graduate. So you click on this. As you can see, it's free. Then you go on to confirm your order. Then you agree to the terms and conditions of the code of conduct, and you will click on pay now. Fill the other asterisk options because it's important for you to fill them out. So it would typically take a while, depending on your network, to load. And voila, you have renewed your membership as a recent graduate free of charge. Now, mind you, if you're graduating this year, it's very important to have this at the back of your mind and endeavor to do this before the end of December, right? Because if you don't do it before the end of December, you would miss out on that free 1 year. I've seen a lot of students miss out on that 1 year, and this is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of. So please tell your friends, tell your colleagues, if you're students, as a mentor, talk to your mentees, tell them that they should take advantage of this, because with the current state of the economy, renewing your membership as someone fresh out of school may not be very comfortable, especially when you're still trying to find your footing in the economic markets. So take advantage of this. And of course, reach out to me or your student affairs chair if you need any support, and we'll be more than glad to help you out. Thank you very much. And we look forward to having you become part of our young professional community. Thank you. Over to you, Simon.
Thank you very much, Emanuela Agbo. Thank you for your quick, timely presentation. Without wasting time, we'll be going towards the end of our today's event. But before that, I would like to open the floor for our membership chairman, Engineer Dumene, to quickly give us a presentation on the for our old and our new members there on the benefit of SPE. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Okay, I don't know if my co-chair is on the line. Amen, please. 1 minute, please. Amen, are you on the line? Please confirm.
Okay, yeah, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear now, Amen. Go ahead. Okay, hello. Can everyone hear me? Sorry for... Amen, is your network fine?
Good evening,
we can't hear you very well.
Begin by reminding all... Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm at work site. Probably that's the reason. But if I'm audible enough, I'll just go ahead. So I'll begin by appealing to all our SPE members that are here to renew their membership to please do so. Reason being that SPE calendar year starts every September. And if you don't renew your membership for the year, it's going to accumulate, except you are ready to lose the number of years you've been a member. Of course, there are benefits for long-term membership. So if you don't want to pay the backlog, it's advisable we renew our membership every year. That is that for SPE members. For non-members, there are various benefits, various things you can benefit from SPE. Time will not permit us to go through, but I'll always advise that you go to the SPE website, spe.org, and explore the site. You see various resources there, various communities that you can benefit from. It can help in your professional development. And of course, even in the entrepreneurship journey that we are talking about, there are so many benefits in SPE. So I'll advise every one of us, go through the SPE website, intimate yourself on all the resources that are there, and you see what will give you reason to join us. And that is that. For our membership fee dues, you are expected as an SPE member to belong to a section. So we always advise that you don't register on the SPEI website. Reach out to us, or depending on your location, we have various sections in under Nigerian Council, Port Harcourt section. So reach out to us. We will guide you through on the membership registration so that you belong to a local section and benefit also what others benefit. You can also avail yourself of the volunteering opportunities that abound under the local section. So join us today. Reach out to any of us. Emanuela, you can reach out to Emanuela that just finished speaking to us, the membership chair, and I will guide you through. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MM, for your presentation. Engineer Dumene, please, can you confirm we still have a gift we want to do for giveaway? Do we have gifts available right now?
Yes, we have the session, but I don't know if you can give order to Pastor Mike to give a appreciation message to our panelists and our speakers before we proceed that. Thank you.
Okay, please go ahead with that, please.
Hello, Prof. Sir, you have the floor, sir. Professor Mike.
What exactly do you want me to do?
Good evening, sir.
What do you want me to do, please?
I want to give a vote of thanks on behalf of the section for the today's event, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me apologize. When Chike finished talking, I thought it was over, so I had to go out until you sent me a message, and I had to return. Let me thank everyone that is here, particularly our speakers. I clearly heard what Chike said, and then I think that is the way to think and the way to go. Of course, he told all of us about himself. He started from being a graduate and attained one of the greatest heights in this industry. So this is the kind of thing that all young people aspire to do. But it requires working very hard and with passion and dedication. I only heard about the other speakers a little bit, but let me say that I'm always encouraged by what the young people are doing in SPE. I'm very, very encouraged. That's why I came in today to listen to you. I would say that I would probably say that my career path would have been distorted if I hadn't joined SPE. I don't want to talk about the benefits now, but if you see me, I'm a man that was made by SPE. Even my business rode on the back of SPE. So I thank everyone that is listening, particularly the young ones. Don't look back. Join the group, grow professionally, grow intellectually, and let the sky not limit you, because there's more opportunities for you than what we had in our time. So thank you, the organizers, the sponsors, What I would say is that we are going to never relent in sponsoring and organizing these events because they are quite enlightening to our young ones. So that's all I would say. Thank you for the chairman, all the people, Mene and Co, that are in charge of all this, and also everybody that sponsored. May God bless all of you for the efforts, and I hope SP will grow from strength to strength until every university that has petroleum engineering faculty will be a part of us, and also the students in this university should learn to leverage on all the opportunities in SPE to grow. So thank you and good night.
Thank you very much, Professor Mark Nkonwo. Thank you for your time and thank you for joining us for today's event. Engineer Dumene, please, can you quickly do the gift giveaway so that we close for the day? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Engineer Simon. I want to thank our prof, Professor Mike, my mentor. Thank our able guest speaker and all the panelists. They are all people I look up to in SP. So I believe we all got all the information we needed for to navigating SP and also enjoy the networking system. I want to thank everybody on the call. We hand over that session for the gift to Emanuela. Emanuela, please, can you confirm your hearing me so I can take over from there so we can call you a day? Thank you. Hello, Simeon. Is Manuela still on?
I can't see her on the call.
Okay. Okay, the gift we have is supposed to be for, unless you have idea of it, right? Supposed to be for our panelists. Presentation of gifts. So, please, can you confirm we have a gift for the panelists?
Hello?
All right. Oh, okay. Okay, I want to thank our panelists for giving us their time and our guest speaker, Engineer Chikeze, and Madam Mabon Basi, Dr. Ismaila, Dr. Okoro, Engineer Aita Agbo, Emanuela for being part of this second edition of our launch and learn for 2024. We're going to email you a certificate of participation and also certificate of being part of our speaker and panelists. So on behalf of the session 103 session chairman, I want to thank every one of us for giving us this year time. We appreciate, we thank you. And for those of us that are not yet member of SP, please, our door is open at any time to assist you and also help you out for being a member of SP. There's a lot of benefit. You can see this one of the benefits. You can see this why very impressive this evening. You can see the knowledge sharing from the experts from the industry. So we have many more to enjoy from SP. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this program. Thank you. I want to hand it over back to our moderator, Jean Sime. Thank you so much, Jean Sime. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I guess Jean Sime is not on the call anymore. So on behalf of session 103 and the membership team and everyone that organized this program and our speakers and everybody, I want to say thank you for joining this program. We have some other program in our session. I would love you to keep your eye across on our social media handles and also our email, because SP Session 103, we are known with programs that can innovate you, programs that can help in your career. So I would love every one of us to keep our eye open and keep our eye crossed, SP Session 103, and look at on our program, other activities. Thank you so much for our students. Please, if you have any challenge or any question, feel free to get in touch with us. We are here to help you. We are here to assist you. Then we also have different channel of mentoring our students. So please, at every time, navigate and get in touch with us. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being part of this program. We look forward to attend to you and also to assist you on how to help join SP. So I'm seeing someone say thank you for all for joining. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Thank you. On behalf of my team, membership team, and the entire board, we want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Simeon, our event chairman. Thank you.